Hi, I'm Penny, this is Penelope's Pitstop, and in this issue we're going to be doing 5 and 6, engine cover panel and engine housing and details to the engine.
For those who fought in the Battle of Britain, it was a battle for survival. For the free world, it was a breathless moment in history. For failure would have plunged mankind into a new dark age. Never have so many owed so much to so few.
So before we begin, let's have a parts check. We have part 1, engine cover panel right, magnet fixture R2, magnet marked on the wide side. 4, 5, 6 and 7, sorry, 4, 5 and 7 is engine housing and 6 is the engine housing strut, and we have part 8, which is 3 2x4mm PM screws. We will also need the propeller from issue 2. We will also need the bits for the side, which I won't be doing in this issue because I've already built it. And we will also need this beautiful little part as well. So let's begin. Stage 1, as described in the last step of the previous issue, fix the magnets 410 and 53 to the engine cover 501 using the fixtures 403 and 502 as shown. Ensure that the marks on the magnets are facing in the directions indicated by the arrows. Fix in place with 2 PM 2x4mm screws. So basically, using the parts that were left over from the previous issue, you will assemble those exactly the same way as the previous issue, and you will end up with this. And you see there you've got a housing with a magnet on top, and that will give you 2 housings. And I cannot remember which is which now. So they are different. It's this one. This one. This is the new one. Sorry, my bad. So again, you've got the marking on the magnets. That one you won't see. And then when you put them together, if you've put them, see here that click? That will tell you that you've put it together, because the magnets will draw it together, and that's what it looks like. And you really don't need to know much about aircraft to know that that is the Spitfire at the front. So stage 2, take the engine housing 5/4, carefully cut parts C and D from the frame. This is the parts from last week, of course. Check the fit of the parts C and D on the side of the part 5/4 as indicated by the arrows. When you are happy with the fit, apply a tiny bit of super glue to each end of the parts C and D and fix in place as shown above. So the parts that they're talking about are these 2 parts here. These are on the sprue. Now, I don't know if we can actually find them. I'm trying to think where they go. No, they're really hard to spot. I think they are inside there somewhere. So yeah, you're not going to see them. So unfortunately, I do apologise, I cannot show you that part. So because I cannot locate it. So on to stage 3. Take engine housing 5/4 and check the fit of the 3 pegs circled in blue in the recesses on part 5/4 as indicated by the arrows. When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue to the pegs on part 5 and fix in place. So that is parts 5, which is this one, and part number 4, which I believe is this one, which I forgot to label, and we need to put that in. We're looking, there we go. So we've got 3 holes there and we've got 3 pegs there, and that will go in like this. And if you remember, from last week we made another part, which is here, and we also put things in so that they went 3 pegs. So this is exactly the same. Now this for me is actually a very tight fit, almost to the point that I might, you know, I'm not going to glue it, but I will glue it, but it's very, very tight. I feel that I don't need to glue it. So I'm still struggling with an old glue. Right, and I'm going to cheat a little bit because I've got good control with this glue. However, I'm finding that sometimes it's not sticking. It's not because of the parts, it is, must stress, if you see me struggling to stick things together, it is because of the glue. There we go. So I'll just hold that together for a few seconds and then it probably won't stick because it's really old glue. Do you know what? That's gone and stuck. Wow. Just as I reach the point... Ah, no, it is coming undone. Right. I think I'll keep that there a bit longer. It's going tacky and spaghetti-like when I pull it apart. Yeah, that's him. Wow. So it has actually gone in first time. So let's have a look at step 4 and take the propeller and motor assembly from issue 2. The assembled parts 4 and 5 fit between the motor and the nose cone as indicated by the arrow left. By moving parts 4 and 5 back towards the motor housing, a peg on each side of the motor assembly fits into a slot in part 5-4. When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue to the pegs and fix in place. So what we are looking for is some, I think there's 2 pegs just sticking out there, and there are 2 holes there, and what we are looking for is that the fit? Gosh, it's quite hard to get in. So you've got to kind of move it towards the propeller blades, position it over, and then just pull it in. And it really doesn't want to go. Does not want to go. So that's when I reach the point where I think, have I done it correctly? You have to excuse me, I'm rather dry, like hay fevery today. Okay, I don't even think that's in the right holes. Yeah, I think that's not even the correct holes. That would explain why. So, see if I can get this in. There we go. Right, so that's still not quite, that's in. Okay, so I was locating the wrong pegs. So the pegs I'm looking for is these 2 bottom ones there, and there, and they will locate onto those pegs there, and once you're actually using the correct pegs, they go in nice and simple, just like that, and that's how that's going to go on. So when we are happy, apply a little super glue to the pegs and fix in place. So, and I'm only going to apply glue to the pegs. Well, I'm going to glue the holes in, because I think to apply glue to the pegs is going to be quite difficult, quite tricky. Okay, I'm trying to get some glue on there. Whereas if we apply it to the holes and then push the pegs into the holes, I think that will be a lot simpler. There we go, that's straight in there. So we do our count to 10 trick, and then hopefully, oh, that's come straight out again. Oh no, 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 no. No, 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 don't do this to me. There we go. So I'm going to leave that for a minute or two because I'm not trusting my glue today. Now I know your answer is, well, if you don't trust it, go and buy some more, which I have done, but it will be here tomorrow. So right, there we go. So I'm just going to leave that for about 5-10 minutes. Okay, that should be dry by now. So on to the next stage. Fit the engine housing 5.7 over the motor housing and assembly from issue 2. Note that there is a peg on each side of part 507. Move part 507 forwards towards the cog as indicated by the blue arrow, so that the pegs fit into the recesses in part 5.4. Below left, when you are happy with the way it fits, apply a little super glue to the pegs, one each side of the part 5.7, and fix in place so that part 5.7 covers the cog. So what we're going to do, we have the cog exposed there, and we're going to get this piece here. We're going to place it on, make sure that what I would call the inside is towards the propeller, and you'll see that there's 2 pegs on there, one there, and there's 2 holes there, one there. This is the first hole that I tried to get this into unsuccessfully, and keep it at the same angle as this, and we just slide it, and it's as simple as that. So I'm happy with that. So we will get some super glue, and I'll just get a dead squirt, a waste squirt, whatever you want to call it, just to get the little first bit out of the bottle. And there we go. So there's probably a little bit too much glue on there, but that's fine. It just means it'll take a little bit longer to dry, and then we just slide that in like that, and that has stuck instantly. If you apply too much glue, you're going to run the risk of gluing the cog. So as long as your propeller moves around, and I wouldn't spin this too fast or too much, because it is connected directly to the motor, and you could break the motor if you spun that too quickly. So we'll let that dry for a bit, and then we'll move on to stage 6. Position the parts assembled in issue 4 over the motor and cog housing, so that the open arch of part 4.8 fits over the cog housing 5.7. See also the next step showing the piece in place. When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue to the pegs on assembly 4.5 and 4.8 and fix in place. So this is the piece from the previous stage, so this should be well set now because it's been left for a week theoretically. So what we are looking at, we have a peg there, I don't know if you can see it, and a peg there, so roughly where my fingernails are. There you go, there's a better view of them. So the little 2 pokey up pegs, and there's 2 little holes there, and that will slide straight into there. You may have to give it a bit of a wiggle, and then when you glue that in, there we go, that's fallen into place. When it wasn't quite in place, you had a wiggle. Once you get it in place, there won't be much of a wiggle, and obviously once it's glued, it will be a lot tighter. So just give my glue a little bit of a shake. So I'm solo. Obviously I do release videos on different days, and I make them well in advance, so you may hear me talking about looking forward to getting my glue tomorrow, and yet on another part work you may see me using the new glue. That's because obviously the order that I make these videos, I've got some part works are on hold because I need the glue, the new glue. So right, there we go, that's in place, and I'm going to hold that for about 10 seconds. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's not quite there yet. So, and I'm going to give that another go actually. Right, so I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue. I'm being very careful here. I don't like applying glue like this on stream, because obviously someone else might try it and then the glue might just come out a little bit too much and they make a big mess, and then they'll say it's your fault, Penny, and it probably would be my fault. So I'm urging you not to apply the glue like that unless you use a cocktail stick. That has done the job, I think. That's not sticking. Right, that will stick. Okay, this is really is a terrible glue. First time I ever used this glue, it stuck so hard so quick. I literally put two pieces together and went to pull them apart and I couldn't. So it's as though the activator part has gone. So that I'm happier with. I think that will be fine. So I'm going to call that stage finished, and I'm actually going to leave it a little bit longer just to make sure. Okay, so I've left that for about 10 minutes and I'm a lot happier with it. It really has stuck down now, so I think it just needed a bit of time. So on to the next stage, which is stage 7. Take the engine housing strut 5/6 and position it beneath the assembly. The two pegs on the ends of part 5/6 fit into sockets in part 4/8 as indicated by the arrows. Note that the two sockets on part 6 face away from the propeller. When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue to the two pegs and fit in place. So this is the piece in question, and it feels quite rubbery. It is plastic, but it's a little bit rubbery, and I've got a little bit of flash on mine. Nothing too major, so I'll go with it to see if it's okay. And what we're going to do, I'm going to place it into those two silver holes that you can see. One end will go into there and one end will go into this one. There we go, and that is a perfect fit. Absolutely superb there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue just the one side, because it's a little bit flexible, so I think that will give us a better result. So just the one stick, one peg, because when I did the dry fit, I noticed that that side went in fine and the other side didn't. Now that happens to have gone in, but we'll just give that a few minutes till that sticks. I think I've actually applied far too much glue, so I'm just going to remove a little bit of the glue just so there's not so much in there. More glue just means it takes a lot longer to dry, so you actually want to use the absolute bare minimum glue. So there you can see I've just lost control of that end a little bit, so it doesn't matter because I've got no glue on it. So 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's sticking but not sticky. That didn't even make sense, did it? So because I've got a less area to work with now, I am going to have to use a cocktail stick and possibly tweezers. So we'll just move that out of the way. We'll just get some glue. I'll just apply glue to the hole. Put enough in, but not too much. And then just get the tweezers now. And we'll just manipulate that end into there. And there we go. I'm very happy with that. so I'll leave that for a while and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so that's done now, so we're going to look at stage 8, and that's take the lower fuselage assembly from issue 3, fit the motor and propeller into the fuselage so that the screw holes on the motor housing parts 2.1 and 2.2 align with the raised screw sockets in the lower fuselage 3.1, fixed in place with 4 PM 2x4mm screws. So these are the 2x4mm screws. So just pop these out ready. There should be one spare. Whoops, that's why you don't throw things around. Now I've managed to throw them so much that I've actually lost one. Okay, it's not a problem because I carry spares, which I think are these. Double check they are the same. Yeah, right, okay. So, what we want to do next is we want to take this piece, which is the fuselage piece, and you see we've got 4 screw holes there. And you see that these pegs are slightly angled. The front 2 are a little bit higher than the bottom, the back 2. And those pegs, you see there's actually holes in there. Those pegs will sit inside there. So you see that even though I'm letting go, it's got a certain amount of hold. Don't rely on that hold. Now, what I want to do now is I will actually just pop a screw just into one of those, and then I'll get my screwdriver ready, and I think the head that I have in is too large, so yeah, far too large. So excuse me 1 second while I just change the screwdriver bit. I should really have checked this beforehand, and I've just knocked my camera over, so this is not a good day for me, is it? So let's just change that for a smaller head. I actually think the Posi head 00 should suffice. Yeah, that's much better. So we'll place that on there, and I'm going to do the most awkward one first. Don't know why. There we go, that's 1 in. And then you know me, I'm going to do the opposite corner, which is going to be this one. Now at this point, once these are in nearly all the way, it should have a certain amount of stability, which it does, but obviously we want to put all 4 screws in. And I'm screwing these in till they're almost tight. I don't want to tighten them up until all 4 are in place. So we'll do the last corner now. Right, so once they're in place, we'll see how wobbly it is. It's actually not wobbly at all. There we go. Now, we are squashing a plastic piece in there, so we don't want to go really, really tight, but at the same time we want it tight enough, and the way we know it's tight enough is to give this housing a wobble. Now that there is no movement at all, so I'm calling that finished, and it says the nose of your Spitfire model is beginning to take shape with the propeller and the front engine housing fitted to the lower fuselage. Magnets have been fitted to the second engine cover section of the fuselage, which is this piece. Now once we've obviously got 2 pieces complete now, so we can actually have a little play. So we know that that's going to go in like that, so we know, I mean, you know that's the front of the Spitfire, don't you? But doesn't that just begin to give us an idea of the whole size? So that's it for that build. So we will have a look at issue 6. So issue 6, let's have a look at the parts list. We have piece 1, engine side cover. Piece 2, engine side cover. This is a right and a left one. Piece 3, oil tank base. Piece 4 is a fuel pump base. Sprue 5 is engine accessories A to F, so that's A, B, C, D, E, F. And sprue 6 is engine accessories G, H and I. It's 2 G's, an H and an I. And then that leaves you with an engine starter plug cover. So let's have a look at stage 1. Take the engine block assembly from issue 3. Note that the top of the engine block slopes at the rear, circled in yellow. Then position the assembly with the right hand side facing you. Take the engine cover 1. This part has a notch towards the rear, circled in insert below. Test the fit of the 2 pegs on part 6(1) in the holes in the engine block. If necessary, use a fine round file to enlarge the holes very slightly. Apply a little super glue to the 2 pegs on part 6(1) and fix it in place on the right hand side of the engine. So I have completed this part already, and that's this piece here. I think it's this part, I'm sure it's this part. Yes, so it's this part along there. So let's have a look at stage number 2. Turn the engine block assembly around to access the left hand side. Take the cover 6(2) with a notch on the right hand end. Test to fit the pegs on part 6(2) in the engine block and enlarge the holes if necessary. Apply a little super glue to the pegs and fix in place. So that will be the opposite side of the engine. So this is the left hand side, that's the right, I believe. Yes. So let's have a look at stage 3. Turn the engine block assembly upside down. Take part 603 and check the fit of the 4 pegs on part 603 in the 4 recesses of the engine block. When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue to the 4 pegs and fix in place. Now unfortunately I can't really show you this too much because it's under there. No, it's there. There it is. It's this piece there. Obviously I'm up to stage 9 I think, so I've built around it, so all of this is to come. So you have to kind of imagine that's not there. But that's that piece there. So stage 4, take the next engine accessory 4 and check the fit at the rear of the part 6(3). When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue to the peg on part 604 and fix in place. The insert below shows part 604 in place, and that piece I believe is this piece here. This little sticky out square bit there. So let's have a look at stage 5. Cut part A from the frame 605. The recess in part A fits over the raised section of part 604. Note that the orientation of part A with one side slightly angled. When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue to the recess in part A and fix in place. So that will be this small piece that sits on top of there. So you can see where this is going with all the little engine accessories. So stage 6. Cut part B from the frame 605. This part has a tab that is glued into the slot on part 604 in front of part A. The insert shows the part in place. So part A will be this piece here. This piece in the middle. No, it's the full piece. So let's have a look at stage 7. Turn the engine block the right side up again so that you can access the right hand side. Take part H from the frame 606. Identify the fixing point at the rear of the engine block. 2 pegs on part H fit into the recesses in the engine block. You may need to enlarge the hole slightly. When you are happy with it, fix in place with a little super glue. So that will be this piece there. Obviously this piece doesn't exist yet, but it's just above the pieces that you've just glued in. And surprise surprise, stage 8, turn the engine around so that you can access the left hand side of the assembly. Take part I from the frame 606 and identify the fixing point on the engine block. You may need to enlarge the hole slightly. When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue to the 2 pegs on part I and fix in place. So that's your previous piece there, and your next piece is going to go in place there. Again, this bit isn't there yet. Okay, so let's have a look at stage 9. Cut parts C and E from the frame 605. Fit the end of part E into part C. Ensure that they are in the orientation shown, so that the notch in part E fits over the tab on part C. When you are happy with the fit, glue in place. So that, I believe, is this piece there. Could be that piece there, I think it is. I can't see anything on that side. So let's have a look at stage 10. Part D from the frame 605 fits around part E. Ensure that the notch on the rim of part D fits over the tab on part E. When you are happy with the fit, apply a little super glue. Okay, so what's happened is there's a piece there underneath. That is part D. C and E fits into part D, and then stage 11, take part F from the frame 605, identify the 2 holes in part F and 2 pegs on part D, test the fit and then apply a little super glue to the 2 pegs and fix part F in place. And I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. Stage 12, 2 pegs on the back of part F in the assembly from the previous 3 steps, fits into the hole in the side of the engine block next to engine accessory I. Check the fit, then apply a little adhesive to the pegs and fix in place. So what we've done is this housing there, we've glued it to that backing plate there. It's very hard to see, but there's a little plate in there. You can see the square. Then in stage 12, we're gluing that to the engine block. So stage 13, take the parts assembled in issue 5 and identify 2 recesses on the left hand side of the motor housing. Take part G from frame 606 and check the fit of the 2 pegs in the recesses. Apply a little super glue and fix in place. Repeat to fit the second part G to the right hand side of the motor housing insert. And I have just found a part that I've had to redo. So I'm going to take the sides of the plane off. So this is the motor housing. So I now need to find the screw that came with issue 6, which I believe, sorry, this is from issue 5. So what we will do, I have not lost my side cutters, so these, I believe, might actually be very similar. So what we will always do, never fail, we need to test fit. So we know that the hole goes downwards. This is what I mean by a hole. That's filled in. So we'll take this piece and then we will just test fit it there. and I'm happy with that fit. I'll just check the other side. It is actually the same piece. These are both called piece G, so that goes in there. So more glue time. I thought I was going to get away with not needing glue in this issue, so I just need a piece of scrap plastic. There we go. So when I test fitted this, it was a fairly tight fit, but it will definitely need glue. So I'm just going to dip the pegs in there. Try and wipe away a little excess, and then into there like so, and hopefully in a couple of minutes or sooner that will stay there. So now I want to get this one, and really I should have test fitted this one before I glued the first one in, but I've got away with that. So a little bit of glue, not too much. If you feel you got too much, dab away a little bit of excess. And because this is coming to the end of its life glue, I'll just need to leave that a little bit longer. Having said that, that one's stuck down, that one hasn't stuck yet. So that's what you get left with issue 13. Just two little tiny bits of detail. May not mean much to the casual modeler, but obviously if you're an enthusiast, I would imagine that's absolutely vital. So that leaves us with one more stage, stage 14. On the right hand side of the lower fuselage, there is a circular recess, flattened at the bottom. Take the starter plug cover 6-7 and apply a little super glue to the back. Fix the cover in place so that its flattened side of the cover fits in the flattened side on the recess. It may help to use tweezers to position part 607. Now that piece is here, and you just glue that little piece into there, and I don't know if you can see that. It actually says, let me see if I can get a close-up on the close-up camera, because I know this will focus automatically. It may not want to. I've just stuck my elbow in super glue. Right, there we go. Come on, are you going to focus? It's not going to focus. But it actually says engine starting plug, and you can actually read that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you a treat. Right, and I'll change the focus on this. This is a manual focus, I'm afraid, so we have to adjust it ourselves. So there we are, engine starting plug, and all we do is we just glue that in. So let me just change my focus back. There we go, guys. So that is the end of the issue, and the completed work should look like this. A range of details have been fitted to the engine block and the motor housing. So what we will end up with is obviously this. This is as it looks in the magazine, and then it also shows us this. But obviously I've got this bit on, but the magazine should look something like that. So I'm going to leave that for this issue. In the next issue I'm going to be building issues 7 and 8. I believe I said I was going to do one issue a week, or do one per video, but I've got to be honest with you, it's a lot easier for me doing two, and I will continue doing 2 issues per video for the foreseeable future, until I catch up, and I've got quite a few to catch up with. So I think maybe the next 10 weeks I'll be doing 2 issues a week, and then once I've caught up to a certain stage, I'll be doing 1 issue a week, and then that will keep the videos coming. I don't want to do too much that I end up with nothing to do some weeks. So take care, guys, and I will speak to you next week. And you really don't need a brain cell. Sorry, you don't really need much don't need much knowledge. I think I'm going to cut that bit out.